Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those who are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those who are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on screen. Those who are attending in online. Right? Okay. अरे यार, Durga Saft has given ID numbers to everybody, right? Then people are not coming to the class with ID numbers. Okay. All right, sir. And we have to start Springboard content here. Just give a minute of time. Let me create the resources. Springboard 8 a.m. Right, so Springboard. Okay. Right, sir. Then now directly we are having a question now. Before going to start our Springboard perfectly, directly we have a question. What about our question here? Question is to prepare enterprise applications. Already we have Spring framework. To prepare enterprise applications, already we have Spring framework. But what is the requirement to go for Spring Boot? What is the need of the Spring Boot? What is the requirement to go for Spring Boot? Already we have Spring framework. Then what is the requirement to go for Spring Boot? Okay. Anything from your side, guys? Just I'm asking this question to you. Any response from your side? Right. Anyway, for the sake of your clarity, yeah, for the sake of your clarity, more advanced than Spring in terms of configurations, right? Right. Code reusing. Okay, fine. Yeah. Any other responses, guys? Already we have Spring framework. Then what is the requirement to go for Spring Boot? Yes. It's advanced version. Then apart from that, makes app logic rest taken care by Spring Boot. Develop only logic, rest taken by Spring Framework, Spring Boot. Okay, nice. More features, auto configurations. Loosely coupled is there in Spring also. Loosely coupled is already there in Spring also. So it's not the main intention of the Spring Boot. Auto configurations, nice answer. Security, okay, is there. Good. That's one thing. Okay. IOC container created by framework itself. Yeah, that containers are available there. Okay, nice. In a normal Spring applications we are created, but inside the Spring Boot it is created. Okay, good. Load balancing and all these things will come under in microservices. Yeah, their separate tools are available for that. Historics or maybe something else you are able to use. Not here. Of course, load balancing is going on, but at minimal level, not completely. All right, sir. Good, nice. Then all the features, whatever the answers you are saying, it provides environment to develop microservices. That's perfect. Inbuilt connection pooling. Okay, inbuilt connection pooling is available even in Spring also. Takes less time. Yes, good, good. Okay, right, sir. Now, anyway, then I want to give the small definition, not definition, just few points about the Spring Boot. No, try to recognize this. Internally, it has server. Yeah, that I'm expecting. That point I'm expecting. That internally, it has server. Good. Right, sir. Anyway, guys, now observe carefully. Some of the points I want to today, just I want to give as an introduction part. Now try to understand it. Definitely here it able to give the total difference between Spring and Spring Boot, but understand it clearly now. First point here I'm telling there, what exactly the meaning of Spring Boot? What is the Spring Boot? No, observe carefully. Spring Boot is an open source, is an open source Java based framework. Java based framework developed by developed by right sir pivotal team in Spring. All right, sir. Now observe carefully. Then what's the point here I'm telling to you? Spring Boot is an open source Java based framework developed by Pivotal team. That Pivotal is a team which provides so many modules in Spring framework. Observe carefully. Spring Boot is a module, or Spring Boot is one of the like what their design framework. Design framework in the sense, then is a Java based framework prepared by Pivotal team, part of the Spring only. Is related to Spring only. This is one thing here we can understand. Then another point here I'm telling there, this point here we are able to understand clearly. What's the intention of the Spring Boot? Easily we can understand. No, Spring Boot makes it easy to create standalone applications, standalone, production grade, production ready, Spring based applications, that we can just run. That's enough. Guys, now just I give you one statement. No, try to understand it. How much you are able to understand it. Just here, I want to give some highlight. Now, then how much you want to understand? Just you can understand here. The statement you are given. Spring Boot makes it easy to create a standalone production ready or a production ready or production grade. Both are same. Production ready Spring based applications that we can just run. How much you want to understand? Just understand this. Of course, definitely I'll explain that to you, but understand it clearly. This is a Spring Boot. This is a statement directly provided by Spring Boot people, not by my own statement. My own statement, my English is not like this. This is provided by Spring Boot people directly. Guys, understood it? Yeah, a simple one only, very simple one. Right. Here the point is what? Spring Boot makes it easy to create standalone. Yeah, yeah, guys. Now observe carefully. Up to this point here, I want to explain now. Spring Boot makes it easy to create this point. First, let us consider this point. Consider this point. One simple question I'm asking to all of you guys. Now try to answer for it. For example, I want to prepare a web application by using Spring Framework. I want to prepare what there a web application by using what there Spring Framework. To prepare web applications, what exactly the things we require now? Tell me. What exactly the things here we require now? Tell me to prepare web applications. What things here we have to provide, guys? First of all, we have to prepare a Spring project. In a Spring project, we have to get all the dependencies. Okay, good. Then Spring configuration file here we have to provide. In the Spring configuration file, we have to provide so many configuration details. Like what configuration details here we have to provide? If it's a Spring web application, so many things. After completion of these configuration details, no, we require one application server or not? We require a server or not? Come on, guys. We require a server. So we have to start the server. Then after starting the server, we have to deploy our application into the server. Okay. Then we require a database. The database we have to make ready. So these many setups and these many things we have to provide. Am I right or not? So if we provide them, all of them, then what we have to do? We have to prepare a package for our application WAR file. That WAR file we have to keep into we have to deploy that WAR file into the application server. After that, we have to start the server. Then we have to access the application. This much of setup here we have to do. Yes, sir. Am I right or not? So if you want to prepare a web application with a normal Spring framework, these many things here we have to do. But if you use Spring Boot, the Spring Boot will create any type of application as a standalone application. Any type of application is a standalone application. And if you execute the standalone application, automatically the standalone application will make ready our Spring application. Will make ready our Spring application simple. Automatically, that Spring Boot will have internal server. Automatically, Spring Boot will start that internal server. Automatically, Spring Boot will deploy our application, whatever the application can be prepared now, our application into the that respective server. Understand my point? Moreover, here dependencies are very less dependencies here we are going to provide. I'm not going to say no dependencies, no, but definitely we require dependencies, no, but very, very less dependencies, no, we have to configure. And in Spring configuration file, nothing, we are not going to provide any Spring configuration file. We are not going to provide any Spring configuration file. Up to now, in Spring applications, we provided spring-config.xml, not required. This is a matter of using a simple properties file. In the properties file, we are going to declare few points here, few points, small points only here, we are able to provide. That means few configurations here, we are able to provide. That means with less configuration, with internal server, with internal databases, then everything we are able to get through a standalone application. Through what there? A standalone applications. That's it. That means even though you want to prepare a web application, just in a Spring Boot, we are going to prepare a standalone application. If you run that application as like that standalone application, automatically that Spring Boot will start the server, internal server. Automatically, Spring Boot will deploy our application onto the internal server. Automatically, the Spring Boot will make ready that application to access by the users. So that everything could be done by that Spring Boot. Now, finally, Spring Boot is a standalone application or not? Spring Boot is a standalone application or not? No response, guys. People are not responding to me. Again, I'm telling to you, Spring Boot is a standalone application. Even though you want to prepare web applications or something else, no, that everything could be managed by that Spring Boot standalone application. Everything could be managed by that Spring Boot standalone application. So that's why Spring Boot is a standalone application. Try to recognize it. Okay. Next one is what, guys? Now tell me, production grade or production ready? Now here I want to say production grade or production ready. Both are same now. Production grade, I want to say that, or production ready. What is this production grade or production ready, guys? Any idea? Yes, ready to deploy. Okay, related. Any other answers here? Production grade. Yeah, production grade. Now I'm asking one question to all of you. Now try to understand it. When a project is in production mode, what we are going to do with that project now? What actually the things we are going to do? When a project is in production, what we have to do, guys? In a production environment, what we are going to do mainly? Come on. I think some people are working here. Customization ready, not like that. Business people start using it, it's okay. Then business people are going to use that. But as you are the developer, when the project in production mode, what is your responsibility? Make it highly available to use. That's okay, good. As you are the developer, what is your concentration on our project when it is in production mode? Yeah, exactly. Maintenance. That is one related word. Come on again. Traffic check. Right. Nice. This is another one. Now tell me. Now we are in my track. As you are the developer, when the project is in production mode, what is your concentration? Maintenance. Okay. Traffic check is okay. Any other one? Yeah. Performance. Okay. Checking performance. Yeah, definitely. The performance should be checked in production also. Okay, fine. Apart from this, yeah, exactly. The point here, what I am telling to you, there is a concept like what there health checks. Are you aware about this health checks for the projects now? And metrics, health checks, metrics, health checks. Yeah, health check in the sense metrics and health checks are both are almost all same. What's the meaning of it? Whether the server is down or up, I want to check it. How many threads are coming? How many threads are maintained by this particular thing? Sir, got it or not? Yeah, about our application. Application is ready to deploy or not. Application is in the process, proper way or not. So all the things are like nothing but what there, that metrics and health checks, these kind of things are available. So, right, when the project is completed with the Spring Boot, whenever we completed the project with the Spring Boot, no, Spring Boot is going to include some endpoints or access points to check our project, to check our project health, to check your project metrics, to get your project metrics, to get your project health. Answer my point here. So automatically that the health checks or metrics or externalization configurations, externalized configurations, and everything is going to be included in our Spring framework automatically. So that checking that the health of the application or server maintenance, all these things will come under what their production grade. That means monitoring. Moreover, what I'm telling there, monitoring our project, monitoring is also be monitoring tools are included, or monitoring checks are also be included in our project by default from Spring Boot. So Spring Boot is able to create a standalone application for any type of application that just we can run. And along with that standalone application, Spring Boot is going to include production grade features. What are the various production grade features? No, like metrics of the application, health checks, and externalized configurations. All the things are going to be included in our respective Spring Boot application. That's why that thing is called as like what are there production grade Spring based applications. Production grade Spring based application in the sense all the monitoring checks and everything are going to be included inside our Spring application. That's why here we are able to check the content here. All right, sir. Now that extension here I'm telling there, Spring Boot is able to create a standalone application. A standalone application. Spring Boot allows us to create a standalone application in order to create any type of enterprise application. Any type of enterprise applications like web applications, distributed applications, and so on, where it is very simple to execute standalone application. This is one point here we can understand. So any type of application we can prepare there, but it should be a standalone application. The point of Spring Boot. Spring Boot application is a standalone application. That's it. But if you run that Spring Boot application as per our configuration details, it may be a web application or it may be a distributed application or it may be a database related application. It may be anything. But overall, it is what there a standalone application. If we execute the standalone application will do will start the server or will do deployment process and everything it able to do internally. Okay, leave it now. Next one is after that. Next one is what there Spring Boot is able to provide Spring Boot is able to provide production ready features. Spring Boot is able to provide production ready features like metrics, health checks, comma, externalized configurations, and so on and so on. So many here we are going to understand. Definitely in our Spring Boot topic, we are going to understand the content here. In Spring Boot, there is a concept like what there actuators topic is available. There in actuators, we are going to see that metrics and health checks and everything about our Spring application. Okay, right. So now this is exactly the meaning of like what there a simple punch. Now see, understand this now in a simple statement. These many points here we are getting clearly. Spring Boot makes it easy to create standalone production grade Spring based applications that we can just run. Got the importance of just run? Got the importance of this particular point here? That statement just run. That statement shows how much it is very simple to run Spring Boot applications when compared with the normal Spring applications and all. Sir, all of you are getting it or not? No response, guys. Guys, try to give time to time responses, not just whenever I'm asking the questions to you, then try to give responses here. Why? Because if you are giving response now, then it will be very clear for us. I'm going to give more content about it. Fine. All right, so next one. After completion of this, after understanding this content here, another important point I'm telling to you, Spring Boot simplifies bootstrapping. It simplifies bootstrapping the Spring application. Bootstrapping the Spring applications. Understand, guys? Again, here we have to understand clearly what is the meaning of this bootstrapping. It simplifies bootstrapping of the Spring applications. Bootstrapping the Spring applications. First of all, what is the meaning of this bootstrapping? Any idea? Even not required. See, this is a general word. In our system also, booting is going on, guys. Then what is the meaning of booting in our system also? System booting, computer booting. Exactly. Launching, loading the application. That's nice. All the points are okay. Yeah, Spring Boot. The word itself is having boot. What's the meaning of this boot? First of all, answer for me. Give answer for me. System boot or system booting is going on. You know already. Computer booting. Loading of operating system to the main memory. That's nice. Will take a lot of time or not? Loading of operating system to the main memory. Will take a lot of time or not? Right, sir. Make ready our system is nothing but booting, sir. Maybe loading operating system into the main memory, or maybe doing some other activities. The total thing, startup point of the system is nothing but what they're booting. That's okay. That we understood. Now tell me that booting may take a lot of time or not? That booting is taking a lot of time or not? No response, guys. That booting is taking a lot of time. Okay. But nowadays systems are not taking much booting time. Why? Nowadays, say for example, at present I'm taking class in what they in all-in-one PC. At my home, I'm taking this class through this one. Here it may take a lot of boot time. But when I go to my classroom system, in my classroom system, just when I switch on my laptop, it's a matter of seconds to get the total system ready. It's a matter of seconds only, just like my mobile phone. When I switch on my mobile phone, in which way, in which fast man it is getting there. In the same way, my laptop is coming. But nowadays, might be my system, my at home desktop, all-in-one PC is taking a lot of time to start our system there to make ready my system. But my laptop is taking very less time. Why? Not like a high memory, sir. Nowadays, maybe there is a technology in the hard disk. There is a new technology in hard disk that simplifies the booting. There is a technology in hard disk. What is the technology? SSD. I got it now. SSD is simplifying the booting time. Okay, right. Yeah, that SSD simplifies our booting time. We can understand clearly. Okay, similarly, observe carefully. Yeah, it's okay. Solid state drive device. That's okay. Nice. Then similarly, if you prepare a Spring application, not Spring Boot. I'm telling this Spring application. If I prepare a Spring application which has lot of configurations, so many configurations, so many dependencies, all so many things are available in my Spring Boot application. In a Spring application now, right? In a Spring application, so many configurations and so many things, and even web application and enterprise application I prepared by using Spring. Lot of configurations are available. And when I start my Spring application, then how much time it will take to load the total Spring? How much time it will take to execute my application? Now tell me. Okay, before start executing our business logic, how much time it will take to load all the modules and to load the configuration details and to make ready our like what their application context and to prepare bean components internally? How much time it will take? Now tell me. It will take a lot of time or not? It will take a lot of time or not? When we execute our application there and making ready our application, that means executing our application may take less time only, but booting point of view, loading that application and make ready all the activities in our application, it may take a lot of time. That is nothing but what their boot time. So more boot time is going in the case of Spring application or not? Come on guys, more and more boot time is going in for Spring application or not? Normal Spring application. So assume it, even if you're not understanding, the point is very clear. So loading time will be more in the case of Spring application. Loading time is more in the case of Spring application. So but what Spring Boot is doing now, Spring Boot has addressed that particular point, so it is taking a lot of time. See, that's loading that Spring Boot Spring application is nothing but, first of all, it has to prepare application context or not, container it has to prepare, that container has to create objects for each and every bin. There it may be taking a lot of time. After after getting ready the container, then only we are calling business method, then only business methods are executing. Business methods execution is very simple, but making ready that application context is the toughest part. Not only that, loading the total libraries to the memory is also the toughest part, and loading that entire framework into the memory is also the toughest part, where performing all the activities at load time are also the toughest part. So to simplify all these things, to simplify this total booting time, to simplify this total booting process, the Spring Boot has provided, Spring Boot technology, Spring Boot was introduced into the market. Yes, sir. All of you are understanding the intention of the Spring Boot, no? So Spring Boot simplifies bootstrapping the Spring application. Bootstrapping the Spring application in order to simplify the Spring application execution. Or simply speaking, it simplifies bootstrapping the Spring application. Yes, guys, all of you are getting it or not? Right? Next one. The same point for your understanding purpose, I'm telling there. Now try to understand it clearly. Spring Boot was designed on the basis of the existing Spring framework. On the basis of the existing Spring framework, in order to simplify and execute Spring applications. Spring Boot application is not any other one. Spring Boot application is a Spring application only, but it provides an environment to simplify the application development and to execute the application Spring application. Spring Boot was designed on the basis of the existing Spring framework in order to simplify and execute Spring applications. Okay. Yes, sir. All of you getting my point or not? Simplify and speed up. Even I want to include this one also, and speed up. Simplify and speed up. Okay, that's better. Spring based applications. Yeah, both are same. Speed up the Spring applications. Spring based applications. Right? Understand it now? Think about it. What we are going to think, understand about this particular point is Spring Boot was designed on the basis of the existing Spring framework in order to simplify and speed up the Spring based applications development. Right, sir. For this particular point, I want to give more points about this. So it will speed up and it will speed up the Spring based application development, and it simplifies the Spring based application development. Where one of the reason here I'm telling to you, all of you observe carefully, where one of the reason here I'm telling to you, understand it clearly. Spring Boot simplifies the Spring application development by making all the configurations as auto configurations, where developers are not required to focus more on configurations, rather concentrating on business logic, guys. Now check this one here. I give you some point here. Now try to understand it now. Spring Boot simplifies the Spring application development by making all the configurations as auto configurations, where developers are required to focus more on developers are not required to focus more on configurations rather than concentrating on business logic. Guys, all of you are getting clarity on this point here. What exactly the point here I'm telling to you? Come on, try to put more concentration here. Try to think about the point here. I said you previously, Spring Boot was designed on the basis of the existing Spring framework in order to simplify and speed up the Spring based application development. Simplify point here I've taken here. So that point I'm telling you. Spring Boot simplifies the Spring application development by making all the configurations as what they're auto configurations. Yeah, simply speaking, what is the point I'm telling to you guys? Observe carefully. Simply speaking, what's the point here I'm telling to you? In Spring applications, we have to write that Spring configuration file or not. Come on, guys. Now, first of all, now tell me, in Spring applications, inside the Spring applications, in how many ways we are able to provide configurations? No, in Spring applications, in how many ways we are able to provide configurations, guys? Now tell me. In Spring applications, in how many ways we are able to provide configuration details? As you understood that. Yes, 3 ways. Now tell me, what are the 3 ways? No. Come on, what are the 3 ways? No. I think you forgotten. 3 ways of configurations. No. First one is XML based configuration or not? XML based configuration. Next one is what the annotations configurations. Next one is what their Java based configurations. Next one is what their Java based configurations. Yeah. In XML based configuration, Spring configuration is mandatory or not? In XML based configuration, Spring configuration file is mandatory or not? No response. In XML based configurations, Spring configuration file is mandatory. In annotations configurations, the Spring configuration file is mandatory or not? In the case of annotations, the Spring configuration file is mandatory or not? Yes, definitely. There we have, yes, in the case of annotations also, Spring configuration file is required. Why? Because there we have to write component scan tag. We have to write annotations simplify the configuration file. That's it. Annotations are not providing replacement for configuration file. Even though if you are using annotations, no, but still we have to write configuration file. In that configuration file, we have to provide like what there, then context colon component scan we have to write now. Not only that, some other bean components we have to define in the Spring configuration file. Your annotations are not defining that. And so my point, annotations are providing solution for some part of the configuration file only, not completely for configuration file. But last one is what there Java based configurations, that all the Java based configurations are providing alternative to the configuration file or not. Previously I shown that points there. in Java based configurations, whenever we are preparing Java based configuration, then we can remove simply, we can remove what there, we can remove the Spring configuration file. Without having Spring configuration file, Java based configurations here we are able to have. Right, sir? Understand it clearly? So here the point, like what I'm telling to you, in XML based configurations, in annotation based configurations, Spring configuration file is mandatory. But in the case of Java based configurations, no, Spring configuration file is not required. Got my point or not? All right, sir. Now the point is what's the point I'm telling to you? Yeah, this is also a required point. You know, try to understand it clearly. In the case of Spring applications, we have to write Spring configuration file minimum. But in the case of Spring Boot, we are not required to write any Spring configuration file. We are not going to require any Spring configuration file. Everybody understand my point here? Alright, sir. We are not required to provide Spring configuration file. Everything is provided by Spring framework automatically as per the auto configurations. As per like what there automatically internally every configuration is provided by Spring Boot required configurations. Just the configuration details we are going to provide. The required simple configuration details we are going to provide in either properties file or YAML file, YAML file. In the case of the Spring framework, we have to write Spring configuration file. In the case of Spring Boot, we are not going to write the Spring configuration file. That's the point here I'm telling you, that auto configurations, in the sense no need to provide configurations more. Okay, where developers are not required to focus more on configurations rather than concentrating on business logic. So the point here, for our simplicity point of view, I'm telling you, Spring based application, Spring framework required Spring configuration file. Spring framework required Spring configuration file, but Spring Boot doesn't require Spring configuration file. Spring configuration file. That's enough. This is a point here we have to understand now. Right, sir? This is one point here we can understand. Okay. All these points are giving the importance of the Spring framework for us. All these many things are providing like what is the importance of the framework. Now try to understand it clearly. Right, by seeing all these points here, we can conclude the point here. When compared with the Spring framework, Spring Boot reduces application execution time. Spring Boot reduces application execution time, and it will improve application performance. Okay. All right. By seeing all these points, one more point I'm telling there. When compared with the Spring framework, Spring Boot is able to improve productivity. Guys, now tell me, what is this productivity? Right, sir? All these advantages here, we are getting it or not? Productivity, less time, more development. Productivity in the sense like what there, less time, more development. Exactly. Less time and more development. Right, sir. For all these points, we have a technical word. In the case of Spring Boot, regarding these auto configurations and all, then I'm giving one more point again. I'll try to understand it. No. Spring Boot follows one principle. Spring Boot follows one principle. What is that principle? No. Yeah, Spring Boot people have given directly this principle. That's why I'm including that. Right, sir. What is that one here? Opinionated default configurations approach to reduce. Guys, observe carefully. Why it is productive? Why it is providing more like what there productivity? Now again, I'm giving that point here. Spring Boot follows opinionated default configurations approach to reduce developers efforts to reduce developers efforts. That is that is that is what's the point I'm telling there? Spring Boot avoids writing lots of boilerplate code, comma annotations and XML configurations. Right, sir? Now this is statement directly coming from Spring Boot. That's why I've included this here. Already I give an explanation for it, but still I'm giving the clarity now. Right, so Spring Boot follows opinionated default configurations approach to reduce developers' efforts. That is, Spring Boot avoids writing lots of boilerplate code, annotations, and XML configurations. Even annotations also be not required to use too much. Annotations are also not required to use too much. Less number of annotations we are able to get it. Okay. All right. So now this is the point here we can understand. Now when we are coming for the integrations, no applications, that other type of applications here, if you observe this, Spring Boot provides a simplified environment. A simplified environment to integrate the Spring Boot applications with the Spring JDBC, Spring ORM, and Spring MVC, and so on. All the content here. Simplified environment to integrate Spring Boot applications with Spring JDBC, Spring ORM, Spring MVC. That means that configurations are simple. See, in the case of the Spring ORM, in the case of Spring JDBC, in the case of Spring AOP and whatever it may be, more consternation is required on configurations only. In XML files, how we are going to provide configurations. There only we are going to put consternation, but Spring Boot avoids this kind of content here. So that's why I have given this particular point. Yes, sir. All of you are getting it or not? No responses, guys. See, all this I'm talking about that Spring Boot advantages only. Advantage of this Spring Boot. Try to digest the concepts here. Not to think much about it. Just try to digest the concepts here. Just I'm giving outline information of Spring Boot. Even I'm not started any internal concepts here. In the next onwards, I'm going to start somewhat internal concepts. Just it is only the behavior of the Spring Boot, where Spring Boot is addressing the problem, then why Spring Boot is coming into the picture over the Spring framework. Just I'm giving comparison with the Spring framework, and I'm giving the direct points about like what there is Spring Boot. Okay, right. Now another point here I'm telling there, Spring framework doesn't have the internal embedded servers. Spring framework doesn't have the internal embedded servers, but the Spring Boot has the internal embedded servers like Tomcat, right, sir, Jetty, Undertow, and so on. These many, right, sir. These many internal servers are provided to prepare and execute web applications, to prepare and execute Spring based web applications. Spring based web applications, to prepare and execute Spring based web applications in a simplified manner. That's it. That is one point here we can understand now. All right, sir. Moreover, that servers only. That means which servers are possible to execute up to servlet part, that we can understand. Names are given there directly. Then Tomcat, Jetty. I think some Tomcat is not like is moreover we can understand is a web server kind of thing only. But servers are required. How much stuff is required for servers to execute up to servlets? No, up to that. That support is available with all these kind of things. No, Tomcat, Jetty are under two. Just instead of thinking about application server, web server, no, just how much stuff is required for the servers to execute up to servlets. That they provided clearly. This is point number one. Another point here we can understand. All right, sir. Next one is apart from this, another point here I'm telling there. Spring framework Spring framework doesn't have the internal embedded databases, but Springboard, yes, why not, Dilip Kumar? We can prepare your application, we can prepare a WAR file, we can deploy that WAR file to any other application server. That we can do. In the production, nobody is depending on Tomcat server. In the production, nobody is depending on like what they're Undertow. Alright, so then we can prepare our application with that internal servers. Then later on, prepare WAR file for our application, deploy that WAR file to some other external server also. That we can do. In a Spring framework, it doesn't have any internal embedded databases, but a Springboard has the internal embedded in memory databases like H2, some other. It has that internal databases also. Right, sir. It is very simple to use in memory databases. H2 database is the best example for it. Yes, sir. Clear? Next one is another point here. What it has given there. Spring Boot has provided internal tools like command line interfaces to run and test Spring Boot applications in a simplified manner, in a simplified approach. To execute our Spring Boot applications internally, it has what there some command line interfaces or command line runners, CLI or CLR, command line runners or command line interface are available. It's a tool to develop and test Spring Boot applications from command prompt very simply, very easily. All right, so then after this, another feature here I'm telling there, Spring Boot allows us to develop the applications either by using Java or by using Groovy script. There is also a language, no? Either we can use Java or we can use what the Groovy script. That will also we are able to use either by using Java or by using what the Groovy script. Okay. Next one is Springboard. Guys, I'm asking there, is the Spring applications available by default with Maven? That means is Spring framework is having any integration with Maven by default? In the case of while preparing Spring applications, we are using Maven explicitly or not? Come on, guys. To prepare this Spring applications, we are using Maven explicitly or not? Through IDEs, no? Yeah, we are using Maven explicitly in the case of Spring applications. But what happened there? Springboard has the internal build tools. Springboard has the internal build tools like Maven and Gradle, Maven and Gradle to develop the Springboard applications in a simplified manner. That means these two are internal parts. Springboard has the internal build tools like Maven, Gradle to develop the Springboard applications in a simplified manner. So lots of plugins are available. Already that plugins are existed. If you want to prepare any Springboard application, by default it will take Maven internally. Maven tool it will take internally. As per this Maven only, we have to prepare it. Okay. Alright, guys. Then in a simple statements, I want to conclude in a simple point here. If I use that Springboard, for example, is a title, what points here we have to get, guys? Now tell me. Springboard is a title if I provide no. Just I want to have simplified equation. Okay, now try to understand it in the word. In a spring boot, if I provide no extension to Spring, comma. Then apart from this, what I am telling there, embedded servers, comma, embedded in-memory databases plus. Come on, guys. Now tell me. I'm asking about this. Not required to install server and database, but if you want to use explicitly, we can use that. Yeah, come on. Embedded databases and embedded servers. Then after this, plus no XML configurations plus less annotations. Come on. What you understood today? Springboard I have given there. Of course, plus auto configurations. Yeah, anyway then, properties files and all the things are available here. Apart from this, mainly I'm taking that. Springboard is equal to extension to Spring plus embedded servers plus embedded in-memory databases plus what next one here? No XML configurations plus less annotations plus auto configurations. Properties file and all the things are okay. Plus internal Maven and a Gradle. That's it. You can write anything here, but that's it. Now this is the meaning of Springboard. That's it. Today I discussed even these points only. Today we had the discussion on what there, these points only. Yeah, all the starter dependencies and opinionated default configurations will come under on what there, auto configurations, guys. All the things, whatever the things here I provided, that everything will come under this particular auto configurations only. By that we are able to get some clarity. This is the total information about like what there, Spring Boot. The content internally here, what we discussed here, internally what that means. What is Spring Boot? If you are getting put, these many comparisons here we can provide. These many things here we are able to provide. That's it, guys. Now this is a basic information on like what there, Spring Boot today. Here we understood there. Groovy is also a language. Groovy is also a language like Java to test a Spring Boot application, to prepare Spring Boot applications. Almost all its syntaxes are like Java only, but the file extension should be .groovy. Is also one of the languages to prepare Spring applications. Okay. Next one is like what there Springboard features. Springboard features. Then this topic I will discuss with you tomorrow, guys. What are the various features? Just I'm going to list out all the features. I'm not going to talk about each and every feature separately. Then it may take a lot of time. Nearly 16 to 17 might be features are available. Just I'm going to talk about all these features just as a list. I'm going to provide there. Important features I'm going to discuss that as per our content. Okay. Right, so now these are about like what there the Springboard total introduction content, guys. Okay, then shall we meet in tomorrow? Shall we meet in tomorrow? Tomorrow I will take Springboard class, the normal. In which way here we are taking the class? No, in the same way here we can understand the content here, right? Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. I'll meet in tomorrow. But try to study the points, whatever the points I'm giving there. Yeah, everybody has to read the document. Python classes, my classes. Just give a minute of time, guys. Then I will prepare the document for it. That means I'll share this document to you. Spring about 8 a.m. notes, guys. Use this. This is the link I've given there. tinyurl.com/springboot 8 a.m. notes. Okay. Then I'm providing these notes, this link in questions box in our webinar. Yeah, use this. I sent to everybody, guys. This you can utilize this. Hibernate already given that, right? In Hibernate class. Okay. Now try to attend further classes, guys. In tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to have the same schedule. Whatever the schedule we are having today, same schedule you can utilize in tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I'll meet you tomorrow.